This is Dementia Air Network, brought to you by Beyond Dementia Coalition, and I'm your host, Bruce Leyton. This interview is part of our 2025 Symposium interview series, recorded during the second annual Northeast Georgia Dementia Symposium, hosted by Beyond Dementia Coalition and Alzheimer's Association. I'm honored to welcome Anna Stallings.
Hi, Bruce. Great to be here with you today.
Hey, thank you for being here. Anna, you are an attorney with Hurley Elder Law, am I correct?
That's what they say, yes.
So do you want to start with describing what you do?
Absolutely. So I think kind of the easiest way to describe this is comparing it to estate planning attorneys, because a lot of people have dealt with estate planning attorneys, getting their wills done, that sort of business, and they're familiar with that aspect of the law. And so estate planning attorneys are worried about, what happens when you die, what happens after you die, how do we make sure that we are minimizing the financial impact of that sort of business. We are worried about that too as elder law attorneys, but we're also really concerned about what happens as you age. How do we make sure that you're getting the best care possible and maintaining your control as much as possible? And then also what happens after you die.
What are the kind of changes that you see that would prompt you to take different action in terms of planning?
So generally, people come in to see us when they're, retiring. That's usually the first time that they'll come in to see us. But we deal with people of all different ages. So we can deal with people who are, going off to college to get their advanced directives done. We deal with all different types of ages for that reason. But as far as changes go, retirement's a big one. The loss of a spouse, that's a big one. And any really big major diagnosis, that's another really big one.
Got it. And out of your, should I call them clients?
Yeah.
Okay. Your clients, are they, what percent would you say have a condition, something like dementia, that affects the way you approach your work?
Yeah, I would say probably about 60% of the families that come in to see us have somebody that's dealing with a kind of scary diagnosis, like, a dementia, an Alzheimer's, a Parkinson's, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So did you say 60%?
About 60%.
That's pretty high.
It's a lot, yeah.
So you yourself, do you have a connection to the disease or elder that prompted you to start as an attorney with elder care? I mean, there's so many different branches of legal work that you could be doing. What drove you to, or motivated you to join Hurley and elder care specifically? Yeah,
it's one of my favorite questions, Bruce. So I grew up in a very small town. I grew up in LaGrange, Georgia, and my family has lived there for, I believe, it's 100 plus years. And so I've got a huge family, and I grew up with lots of great aunts, great uncles, because they were all big families. And so I basically was, spending a lot of time with our seniors, and then I went off to college in Macon, which I thought was the world away, but it was a whopping 2 hours. So I got there, and I was like, I want to spend more time with seniors because I'm with all these college kids, sort of volunteering in assisted livings and that sort of business, doing activities. And it just wanted to deal with seniors ever since.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and of course, with dementia, I've had two of my great-grandmothers that I was lucky enough to know. Both had dementia. My grandmother right now has dementia as well. So it hits very close to home, personally as well.
Yeah. We often talk about the existential nature of the disease, and we hear all the numbers and the facts, but when it becomes personal, it's a little different, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that, in this day and age with people getting older and that sort of business, so many people are touched by dementia, by Alzheimer's, and it's almost impossible to avoid at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. There's great work being done out there, and thank you for the work that you're doing. Question in terms of gaps. So if you had to touch on like a major gap in somebody's planning effort at any stage, can you zero in on that?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest gaps that I see is families are, kind of paralyzed. They get this really scary diagnosis and they're told that their loved one is going to, have this degenerative disease or condition, and they kind of just freeze. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine this. I don't know what the future is going to hold, and they just don't do anything. And they say, we'll just take this as it comes. And that's usually not the best way to do it because, as you and I both know, this is kind of a step down scenario a lot of times. And so you don't know when that next step is coming. It's not a free-flowing kind of steady descent. And so I think just not doing the planning as soon as you get that diagnosis is kind of the biggest gap that I see.
So from a legal standpoint, what kind of discussions can you have or would you like to have? This is my last question for you.
Yeah, so I think something that I really take very seriously is making sure that my clients maintain their autonomy for as long as possible, because I know that so many attorneys and people in the community at large think that as soon as you get this kind of diagnosis that automatically you lack capacity and you can't make your own decisions and everything needs to be decided for you. That's not the case. And so I really focus on trying to make sure that the person who has that diagnosis is included in the conversation as much as possible, and that they are set up so that even when potentially they can't make their own decisions, that they have set it up in a way that they can make sure that everything is taken care of in the way that they would have wanted.
Anna, thank you so much for being with us and sharing with us. That was Anna Stallings, an attorney with Hurley Elder Care.
Thank you so much, Bruce.
Thank you.
We hope this brief but meaningful conversation offers a vital perspective on dementia care, advocacy, and the power of community. This is Dementia Air Network, where voices matter and stories connect. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep the conversation going.